it, you determine where the result is supposed to go and how the result is supposed to look like. For example, you determine here that you attach it to a rich text field. Basically, you put it back into a Lotus Notes document as for the result. And, of course, output file settings. Here comes the toy shop. Everything you can think of, stamping, background, page numbers. Concatenating means stacking up PDFs into a single file, adding additional appendices, adding a PDF password. All these things can be made available or can be set for an output file. And here's, again, revisiting the compression and saying, okay, the final result is also to be zipped into a zip file. So whatever you're receiving it as a zip file, and once you open that zip file, your PDF result or other format result is in there. ePDF can not only produce PDFs, but it can also produce TIFFs if you choose to have that. And it can even turn around PDFs back into Word files. So it's in and out, backwards and forward with multiple file formats of choice. So this is the configuration, and that's the only form you would ever use to employ or to set your different applications. Now you can have one that points towards my standard database here, and you could have another that points towards a CRM database. And you can, again, have another configuration set that points to a file system folder that you scan documents into, and that the documents get picked up on or get picked up from, and then, for example, delivered into a Lotus Notes database. And this is what you're seeing here. Here's the file system folder that comes with the installation. As an example, you already have file system folders here that get created during the installation of ePDF. And if you simply drag and drop, and hopefully this was not too fast for the screen share to show here, I dragged a file from my desktop, in that case here, into a shared folder. And that folder is connected to ePDF. And we, of course, as these are sample folders, example folders, we have named them as to what to expect once you drag and drop a file into it. In this case, a PDF simply gets created. And for a simple matter of trial, I have given this in just a text file here to try out. And in that simple case, the result file basically in a few moments will show up in that output folder here, so as to have it then here. See, it's already here. That basically was simply using the hot folder interface of submitting a job and receiving the result back in the simplest case. It could be, for example, used for an archival transformation of large scale. And you can read already here from the sample names that come with the installation as to pre-configured, preset folder profiles here, what to expect when you drag a file in here. So that is what you get when ePDF gets installed. That is what you set here in this configuration database if you want to set up your first job profiles, as they are called. And from the perspective of the Domino administrator, that is basically what comes with the installation. It is a configuration database. It is a log file similar to the Lotus Notes, a Domino log database. And it is also a preset mail inbox that can easily be configured so that you can instantly submit jobs to something at ePDF in your organization, and it will basically reach ePDF, and ePDF will pick up on it. And here is that sample database that we have seen peeking through in the configuration that I've quickly browsed through. That's the footprint of the installation on the Domino server that hosts the ePDF software. And once more, all your applications, they do not need to be replicated or need to be put onto that same server to be processed. ePDF reaches out into any type of Domino server on any operating system, into any application with no program required. And of course, the identification that the ePDF service then will use is the identification of that Domino server here that hosts the ePDF software.
One question did come through. The question is regarding the native applications. what are the supported file formats without having to set up a native application such as Microsoft Office?
ePDF supports more than 300 different file formats out of the box by introducing or by employing what's called a generic rendering engine without any native application needing to be installed at the ePDF server host. However, as we all know from using attachment viewers and looking at native application files such as Microsoft Office with a sophisticated layout, that using a viewer will typically have some losses in the layout. Some page breaks get lost, or unhidden table, or hidden tables become unhidden. These are typically the effects of employing a viewer that is not 100% binary compatible with Microsoft Office itself. And for that particular reason, ePDF provides this capability, but for the price of having some minor losses in the layout. That's why it has a generic conversion engine by default integrated. However, since for many business processes, that particular for Microsoft Office files, that is not sufficient, and they need lossless conversion, that is why we offer the choice to additionally install the native application. Let me quickly go here and show the choice of native applications that are all supported. It's not only Microsoft Office, but Smart Suite, Visio, and some other native application components. If they get installed, then that particular conversion process, and it can be set on a per job profile. So for jobs where it is not important, it may not be necessary. It doesn't have to be used. But for jobs where it is critically important, legal documentation or sophisticated recipes in the pharmaceutical industry that have all sorts of fancy layout and graphics embedded and what have you, then it's recommended that Microsoft Office of the appropriate version even gets installed to the Domino server host, to the ePDF server host, and by that ensure that there is a lossless conversion to PDF with that API or with the engine of that native software being employed. And this also offers another capability. If, for example, Microsoft Office is not supposed to be used on a given Domino server host that hosts ePDF due to a corporate policy to not install Microsoft Office on servers, then it can be basically outsourced to a separate installation and connected to the same server host, so as to transparently then run on a stacked engine or run on a remote PC or an additional server, a Blade server or what have you, or a virtual instance even, and not violating server policies that in some organizations, as we know of, prohibit to install Microsoft Office to server machines just because of good faith, or better not, or better saying, and no credibility of Microsoft Office to be experienced as stable on Domino servers or on servers in general. Of course, we have automated the use of Microsoft Office, and we can ensure that it is deployed appropriately. However, we offer that split install scenario also.
And that concludes this edition of Group Talk. Thanks for watching. To engage in conversations with us, visit twitter.com/gbsknows. To stay up to date, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/joingbs. And to watch entertaining and informative videos, visit youtube.com/gbsknows. And don't forget, visit our website and send us an email at gbs.com and info@gbs.com. Thanks again.